Hey, what's up, YouTube? So far in the videos that I've done, the video I did that had the most views was the Robotech review rant of issue number 6. Um, so here we have some illuminating facts coming out about why the comic is the way it is. Writer Brian Wood talks the series' surprising new direction. So this is from a couple of days ago. Okay, talk about Robotech, laying it out for the audience. They're collecting the first 6 issues in a trade paperback, so I guess this is done for that. Okay, they chatted with series writer Brian Wood, the acclaimed author of Rebels. I've looked at everything this guy's done. Not a fan. When I found out that he was writing Robotech, I was already like, Anyway. He says he's a big fan of Robotech. Okay. As you may have already noticed from the trailer, the new Titan series moves away from the traditional manga look that has been consistent throughout Robotech. Should be more anime look, not manga look. Manga is the comics, anime is the animation, or what we used to call Japanimation, which actually I kind of like saying Japanimation more than anime, but whatever. So, a Western comic book art style. We all agreed it was the way to go, and it was something I made sure was highlighted in my pitch. Okay, so Brian Wood is the one responsible for the art style that is not fitting to Robotech at all, which is the art of Marco Turini, who is a good artist. He's a very talented artist. He could probably draw a lot of military science fiction, and it would be fine. But it doesn't suit Robotech, and that was my biggest gripe. Okay, my one overriding goal here was to try and expand the Robotech readership. Okay, I don't think that's happening. I don't think this comic is selling all that well, but I don't know. I felt the art style that didn't look like anime was a big part of that. Some people who don't care for anime or manga take one glance at that type of art and dismiss it outright. I wanted to try and break through those biases and hopefully make some new Robotech readers. Okay, well, you may have expanded the readership. I guess I really don't know, but you've definitely turned off a lot of the loyal older fans who would have looked at it. That I do know. So I don't. This doesn't make any sense. But it seems to be a common thing with these modern comic book writers. To expand the readership while getting rid of the old readership. I don't understand why. If you look at a lot of the art styles that you see, you actually see a hybrid anime manga style in a lot of comics where they actually mix it with the Western style very well. I don't know why that couldn't have been done if you didn't want to do an outright anime style. The hybrid anime styles that I see in plenty of comics could have been used. But instead, this art was used, where they've actually made many of the characters. I mean, the characters look okay here, and this is why this is being shown. There's pictures of Minmei and Lisa and even Claudia, where they look downright ugly in the style that this artist draws in the interior. They picked like maybe the nicest representations of the art. Minmei looks, well, let me get to Minmei, okay? This is how Minmei should look. She's a cute Japanese teenage pop singer, long flowing black hair, a little goofy, sweet, kind of airheaded, but not really. She's a teenage girl who gets caught up in this interstellar war, where her singing actually has an almost weapon-like effect on the invading aliens in Tradi, who are not used to human singing. And it's a really cool part of the original Macross and of Robotech. The first part of Robotech. So here now we discuss this, and this is the real gripe that I have. For the most part, the first several issues of Robotech feel like a modern update of the original series' first few episodes, armed with faster pacing and more nuanced dialogue. Nuance is like the opposite of what I'm getting from any modern comic writing that I see, okay? Especially from a liberal like this guy. But they're all liberals. Listen, all the comic book writers are liberals, guys. So that's why you're always getting these things. But let me not get off the point. some characters that feel like relics of the time. The early 80s, which was just like 1,000 years ago. Relics of the time. Like teenage singer Lin Minmei are made to come across a lot more befitting of the world today. What does that mean? There's less strong, tough women today than there was in the early 80s. I can tell you that. All this tough girl stuff that is put out in comics is a lie. It's not real. Okay? Look outside in the world today. People can't take anything. So, anyway, as a writer and fan, I thought about what I liked about Minmei, but also what I thought a girl in her circumstance might have adapted to. As a waitress in a bustling military town, she'd likely know how to stand up for herself, give as good as she gets, and be unfazed by chaos and unimpressed by a uniform. You actually see this in the original Macross when she's a waitress. She doesn't take guff from soldiers. She's just a regular girl. So this is already there. You don't have to do what you've done in the comic, which is I don't think I've ever seen Minmei smile in all 6 issues. Okay, I bought issue 6, but I've looked through every issue. I bought issue 1 too. Minmei has not smiled one bit. She's not sweet. She's bossy. She's a tough girl. You had her go out and actually get the tuna. In the famous scene, you gotta be a Robotech or Macross fan to know what I'm talking about. But he's made Minmei like what they want modern women to be. Scowling little independent women that don't need no man, as they say. Okay, absolutely. Just Minmei is actually, a lot of people don't like Minmei. A lot of Robotech fans don't like Minmei. They think she's annoying. Her voice is annoying, at least in Robotech. The whole idea is that Minmei is a character who grows, as does Rick or Hikaru in the original Macross. She grows. She's a teenage girl thrown into a situation that would terrify anybody, and Rick was absolutely terrified in the beginning. Okay, unfazed by chaos. She didn't care about anything that was going on the first couple of issues. In the original, Hikaru was terrified when he killed the first Zentradi soldier that he saw, this giant humanoid that he emptied a whole clip of his Veritex machine gun into. Okay, but for some reason, Minmei can't be unfazed by chaos. So whatever. I don't want to spend too much time on that either. Relics of the time, nuanced dialogue, give as good as she gets. It's, you know what? Later on, when she matures with what happens with her cousin, when she becomes a very lonely person after the war, these are really things that should come up. I'm not getting that from it. I'm not getting any sympathy for Minmei. She's a scowling bitch, the way this guy writes her. Here he talks about Roy and Claudia. Lisa, he hasn't really changed too many of them. I mean, I don't really get any kind of anything from them. One thing about Roy is that Roy is very serious in this comic. He's like super serious and grim. In the original Macross, Roy was supposed to be the big, brash, romancing American guy. That was his job in Macross. The original Macross was very diverse. It was supposed to be UN Spacey. And Roy was the American character who was sort of like the surrogate big brother of Hikaru, and obviously Rick Hunter in Robotech. Roy was funny. Roy was a really good guy. But in this, I don't get any of that. Roy is just a grim-faced person. So, whatever. This art is not bad. Okay? But it's not Robotech. At least not the way the people are drawn. So, basically, he goes into the end of this. Brings up J.J. Abrams, Star Trek. So, let's, right off the bat, whatever. I'm worried. I don't know if they're going to finish this. I actually hope they don't. I don't want them to get into Robotech Masters, the second part. Although they probably won't, because no one seems to really care about the second part of Robotech. I'm worried they're going to go into the third part, which is my favorite, Robotech New Generation, also known as Maspida. If you know that series, there's a character in there that would be very ripe for a modern political dealing with transgender issues. That they might do something with that character, which I really hope they don't get to, because it would be a betrayal of what that character is really about. A very interesting character, but regardless, I don't want this guy touching anything anymore at Robotech. I hope this gets canceled. And I'm a Robotech fan, so expanding the readership, I don't think so, buddy. Anyway, so that's it. And here they say, are you on board for a radically different Robotech narrative? Let us know down below in the comments. Well, I'll just say this. Robotech fans, this is what we want. We want the sequel to the Shadow Chronicles, okay? We want to see what happens after the Shadow Chronicles, which was actually decent for what it was. We want to see what's going on with the Love Live Alive OVA and the issue with Lancer and Sarah's pregnancy, which if you're Robotech fans, you'll know who I'm talking about. I want to find out what's going on with that as well. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see stuff retold. Okay, I don't want to see the same stories taking place in between to cover some other thing. We don't want that. We want the sequel. We want to know what happened to Rick Hunter, Admiral Hunter. We want to see what happens with Scott Bernard in space. We want to know what's going on with Lancer and Sarah's baby. And we want to see, what these Hayden Nights are about. And just, that's what we want to see. We don't want to see this rehashing where they're taking old characters and, making them modern, where they're not relics of their time. What arrogance. What nonsense. What lack of historical sense. And to sum it up, they asked, let us know down below in the comments what you think. And only one guy commented. This guy can take his comic and go screw himself. There you go, mate. Anyway, that's it. Signing off.